Previously on Ballz.
Shakes, it's Neil Collins. How are you, mate?
How are you, Neil?
Hey, Shakes. No, we're good. We're very, very good. I'm trying to raise Gordon at the moment, somewhere in Zambia, communicating via mirror and smoke signals. But first I want to talk to you, Shakes. Shakes, I just wanted to ask you, I mean, you've played football in Africa. You know how difficult it can be when you go up north. I've got Gordon Iggison saying today, as he left Oliver Tambo yesterday, that he's thinking about putting name tags on the players. He's had so many changes in the squad. Shakes, what's your take on the COSAFA Cup? We play Namibia on Saturday in Lusaka. Interest will start to peak, as we get towards that. How do you feel about the COSAFA Cup, Shakes?
Well, personally, I think the COSAFA Cup was mostly for players that are not really in the national team. They were called the Beneplas. That there was a name tag for them called Beneplas. But for me, I feel it should be players. We don't need Shabalala for the COSAFA Cup. We don't need Kungwane for the COSAFA Cup. I mean, these guys played football since the World Cup, and they needed new players, are needed new faces, fresh ideas. They are called Ben 10.
Yeah, no, I accept the Ben 10 analogy. So you don't think it was that bad an idea for Bobby Matang to come out and say that we should withdraw all the big players, get rid of all the Kaiser Chiefs and Orlando players, even the not very big Orlando players were pulled out of the side in the end. How do you think we'll fare against Zambia if we reach the semi-finals? They've got a young squad as well, not their best squad.
Look, they also not bringing their best squad. Are these games in the FIFA calendar? I don't think so. Are these games going to do any justice for our rankings? Hopefully it will do. But for me, honestly, personally, I think it's a good opportunity for your No Mandelas, your Vuyo Mere, even if you've been playing for more than 10 years in the PSL. But to get a chance and a sniff in the national team, probably Gordon has a pool of players. Unfortunately, he's not been going all over the country to watch some of the players. We've got better players in our country. Those are better even than the regulars in the national team. It's about time that they were given a chance.
You're right. I mean, Shakes, I worry about our development. I look at our under-20s. I look at what we do under 21, under 17, and I don't see a lot of positive movement coming from SAFA. I see a lot of players pulled out whenever the other Shakes, Mashaba, puts a squad together. How do we improve that, Shakes? Just in a couple of sentences, how do we work on producing young Bafana players that play, as Gordon always asks, he wants a junior squad that can produce players that can play the Bafana style and kind of key in with the senior squad. How do we get that together? Any ideas?
I mean, after we won the 96 AFCON, we started saying that we've arrived, if you know what I mean. Yeah. What we normally do, we went to Britain, we went to Germany, we went to Holland, we went to Brazil. We're busy sending our coaches to Spain now. I think we're a confused nation in terms of our style of play and what kind of play we need. I mean, our physique doesn't allow us to play the German type of football, but it can always allow us to play a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Brazilian. But now it will never happen because coaches don't even trust each other. You've got a coach in the national team. That is, the lower, I mean, the under-20s and the under-20. I don't think they sit down with Gordon and try and plan ahead. We just cut and paste a lot of stuff. Yeah. So we're not in a way that we could look at our stands. To show that there's something wrong with our football, you cannot go and watch a Vest game and a Platinum Stars game. How many people are going to rock up there? That's the difficulty of it. It starts even there. It even goes to understand that people get free tickets to go and watch football now. That's the state of our football. Or probably people get bussed in to go and watch football. It's so sad. I mean, the state of affairs is very sad, really.
I know. With Platinum Stars last year, I went to a couple of their games. I went when they played Sundowns in the quarter-final of the Nedbank last year. They were the Kungwane lads, all in their little mini cabs. They'd all been bussed in. They were all rock-faced drillers, which also, at that time, it wasn't long after Marikana. And I was talking to all them, nice bunch of lads, and they were saying they're only getting 2,000-3,000 for ordinary games up at the old Royal Bafokeng Palace.
Exactly.
They came second in the league. They got to the semi-finals of the Cup, and all their players are left. Their managers left. The continuity is what's lacking. You know,
Yeah.
if you look at clubs like where Bongani Kamala is going, Ipswich, it has a 100-year history. It has fans, 25,000 fans that will always turn up for home games. We need to kind of breed and develop. I was interested just now, Sheikh. You said that you said you don't think we have the physique in South Africa to play the German style, but I know Stuart Baxter. Having started off showing his players Manchester United videos, training videos at the start of the season and a bit of Spanish and Argentinian stuff, he told me about a month ago, and I've spoken to him again this week. He's in training now, so we can't talk to him today, but he told me that by the end of the season, he was showing them Bayern Munich videos and showing them how to get players wide, how to create width, how to get fullbacks forward, and I thought that was quite interesting. And then, of course, let's talk about the real meat of our conversation today. You would be the person to tell me, can Knowledge Masona, back from Hoffenheim on a year's loan at Kaizer Chiefs, can he do what he always used to do, which is bang in 20-25 a season?
You know, the interesting part of it, Neely, when he came to South Africa from Zimbabwe, he came as a very, very hungry player that you could see that every game he goes in there, he works so very hard. Now, here's the catch-2 situation. He goes overseas, Germany. All the euros that he got from Germany, honestly speaking, he's not a player that was hungry coming from Zimbabwe to South Africa, make his name, go all over to Germany. What happened in Germany, he spent 2 years there, besides scoring about 20 goals. That's a fact.
Yeah.
He comes back to a league that he's been used to. It's not going to be easy for him. A lot of pressure is going to be put on him, like when Parker came back, from Holland. So hopefully he'll sustain the pressure and start bringing in goals, but it's not going to be easy for him. Defenders will be on him. They don't want to be very nicky out of them.
Oh, blimey, mate. It's just, we've been talking for 2 months about Knowledge possibly coming back. Hoffenheim didn't use him a lot. Then he went to Augsburg on loan, and he wasn't used a lot there. So a lot of Orlando Pirates fans, and you know what it's like on Twitter, a lot of Orlando Pirates fans saying to me his confidence will be broken by his time in Germany, that this goal-hungry Zimbabwean that you talk about that arrived as a youngster at Chiefs and absolutely set the place alight, that he might not be the same man he was. Then at Orlando Pirates, we've got this Lennox Bakela, coming without a great scoring record up from the Free State, and we look at him and we think, what's he got to offer? And we've got the great debate going on this week, Orlando Pirates with Bakela and Kaizer Chiefs with Masona. What do we judge? How do we judge that? Do other Pirates fans right to feel a little bit aggrieved, or can we expect Lennox Bakela with the kind of service that he'll get at Orlando Pirates to be quite an interesting signing, by Screamer Shabalala at Orlando Pirates? What do you think?
Well, with Bakela, I think for me, really, to be honest, he's a striker. He's an out-and-out striker that gets into the box. It's the quality. The problem with our strikers, they get 13, 14 goals because of the service and the kind of football that is. Coaches don't want to lose, especially when they play away from home. They're looking for a point. Yeah. They'll end up playing with one striker up front there. But now, in terms of Bakela, the kind of players that we'll have at Orlando Pirates than the players that he had at Celtics, they're too different, if you know what I mean. The service that he'll get from your Jali or Opa Manisa, he's going to thrive on those services. But Pirates a big team. The fans will be on behind him. Obviously, they'll if he misses a goal, like Besuma has been struggling, and it's such a catch-2 situation. Rather than with Musona, with the kind of experience players that he also plays, I think for me, both players will depend on the service, Neely.
Yes, I just think he'll get a lot better service. I know Take Shaw Chinyama, who I quite liked, is now, I know he's down in Cape Town with Wits. I got a picture of them all on the beach last night with Gavin Hunt, clearly the shortest man there, on the beach with the sun going down. And there's Take Shaw Chinyama down with Wits, who are building this quite phenomenal side at the moment, 6 new signings so far. And I saw Collins and Basuma in that game against Amatux at Loftus. Amatux were doing so well, unbeaten at the time. Collins and Basuma scored twice and absolutely rocked this young Amatux defence up from the First Division. And then he kind of tailed off after that. Collins and Basuma, can he, with someone like Bakela next to him and cooperating, without Benny McCarthy in the background as he was last season, without Take Shaw Chinyama, if he sticks with Bakela and Basuma, is there a chance that Roger de Sá will come up almost out of the blue with a striking partnership that might just work for the Buccaneers?
I think it depends. That's what I said to you earlier. It depends with the system. Players make the system, and probably when he plays away, like in this African thing, he'll probably want to use one strike and take the midfield. That's been our football, you know. But coming to the PSL, Bakela and Mbesuma up front, Bakela can feed off Mbesuma. Mbesuma is a good holder of the ball, been played to him, if you know what I mean. And for them to use both of them, is it likely? Is it possible? I think it would work, unless if Roger still wants to keep his job.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I do speak to Roger occasionally. It's very rare that I get to hold of him at the time I want to, but I know Roger's having a hard time. I know that things are complicated at Orlando Pirates, but I'm kind of telling people
it's not an easy place to work in.
It's a hard job at the moment, and what I'm saying to Pirates fans is, give them a chance. With Egypt in the state it's in at the moment, there's never been a better time to play Al Ahly and Zamalek in the Champions League than now for Orlando Pirates. They start off with the Leopards on the 20th from Congo, and then they have these two trips to Egypt, probably behind closed doors, and now more and more likely looking like a neutral venue. Do you think Orlando Pirates can go all the way to the knockout stages through these group phases?
I think with a lot of planning and a lot of players that they have, I understand they'll be signing quite a few players, especially for the CAF competition. I think for me they can go all the way as long as they don't they use their own, at their home advantage very, very well, playing away obviously, sneaking a point. They'll definitely get it because they're looking at the second star. Hopefully they get the second star.
Don't laugh when you say second star. Don't laugh when you say second star. I'm an Amazulu fan, Shakes, and I'm saying to people, let's back Pirates for the second star. Then we've got Kaizer Chiefs going into the Champions League, having won the double last season. Just while we're on the subject, Shakes, it's Jabu Mashlangu, Jabu Pule, I used to call him, Jabu Mashlangu's 33rd birthday today. I'm sure we both wish him a very happy birthday, don't we?
Yeah, happy birthday to him. I listened to him last night at Robert's show, with Robert. And so it's unfortunate the talent that he had, and he's only 33. And the kind of football that we watch, people even still rave about him. So it shows that he's done an impact in South African circles. Unfortunately, his discipline let him down here and there. But that's life. Life goes on, and happy birthday to him.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. What do you make of Kaizer Chiefs perhaps challenging for the Champions League, having just won the title? No matter what happens to Pirates, over the next few weeks in the group stages this year, next year we've got Kaizer Chiefs up there. Do you think that they can challenge at the top level of Africa?
I mean, with Stuart at the helm, I think he'll probably have looked at that and said he'll also need to strengthen players here and there in terms of going forward. I mean, with the kind of football that they displayed, especially in the middle of the season, there was a lot of hope. And with the kind of experienced players that he has at his disposal, I think he'll do well in Africa and probably sneak in there in the Champions League.
Yeah. Have you looked at these Stuart Baxter development plans? He's talking about a whole new academy at Naturina. Do you believe in that? Do you think that this development will happen and will come through to benefit Chiefs and Bafana? Have you spoken to Stuart about it at all?
No, the problem with development, especially in this country, as long as they can sort out the HET, everything will be smooth. Because all the coaches in the junior teams, it should be instilled in them. It's not about winning at all costs. If you know what I mean. You cannot have a 16-year-old playing for under 12. You cannot have an 18-year-old playing for under 15. It kills the whole concept of development. And for me, if they stick to HET, I think in this country will have a wonderful development, the way I see it.
Yeah, and maybe compete at the same level as Ghana have been competing in Turkey in the Under-20 World Cup. You've been watching any of that at all, Shakes?
I watched a glimpse of the highlights, and it was so encouraging to see, especially your African countries that are doing very well. Unfortunately, they went out yesterday.
Oh no, mate! I was so disappointed. Gary Al Smith, a very, very good, very good journalist from Ghana.
I saw your tweet,
Yeah, and I was tweeting him last night. This wonderful medium we call Twitter, and we were all heartbroken last night. Ghana went 2-1 down, and then of course France had a player send off, and I thought 10 minutes, come on. You can get this goal, but they didn't quite get there. But congratulations to Ghana.
Exactly.
During the 2010 World Cup, we all piled up behind Ghana, didn't we, in the hope that they could go further than any African nation. Yesterday felt the same to me. It would be lovely to see South Africa, wouldn't it, competing in the semi-finals of world trophies at junior levels and senior levels.
But nearly over the years, we had players who played in the under 20, and I mean, if you can recall the Sheikhs Mashaba under 23 team, what are the players that we had then? What happened to that? Do you have a database of players? I mean, I've got a database of players that played in the under 12 Danone Cup. You know, with Zinedine Zidane as an ambassador for Danone. Yeah. What happened? Your Opa Manyisa, your Mpoma Loka, your now these guys that are playing at Pirates, about 6-7 players at Orlando Pirates now. They played in the Danone Under 12 Cup. If you can recall, you had players like your, who's that boy, Manyisa. Yeah. You had players like Kungwane, now he's been signed by Pirates from Amazulu. Those are the boys that, can you imagine Kungwane was once an Under 12 Pirates player. After 10, 7, 18, 5-10 years, he's back at Pirates in the first team. But he went to Platinum Stars. He went all the way to Mazulu. That shows there's something wrong with our development.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Now Pirates have to pay more than they paid him when he was under 12.
Exactly, but, mate, but that disjoint between, and it happens in rugby and cricket in this country, particularly with the what we might call the development players. I've seen it happen in rugby and cricket, where we've got sensational 16, 17-year-olds coming through the South African ranks, normally through the kind of private schools. I know, funny enough, Grey College run a very good football academy. They're not just a rugby school. And you see these lads at 17, 18, they're competing with top people around the world at that age group, and then we seem to just lose them. They tail off a little bit. So that's what we have to look at, Sheikhs. Yeah. You know, you and I have to keep bashing away on Twitter and on the various media platforms to try and get some kind of continuity. And I know when Gordon got the job, he said to me, what I need is a good under-21 side. I need Sheikhs Mashaba to get all the support in the world. I need... I've been talking to Bradley Carnell this week with Philemon Masinga, and obviously Lucas Radebe. They all get told by SAFA, we're going to have meetings with you, we're going to bring you in, we're going to have... And someone like you as well, Sheikh, a big name that can say to the clubs, no, I'm taking these lads, we need them for the under-21s, let's get together around this and produce a Bafana side we can be as proud of as we were with those Ghanaian lads last night. Isn't that what we're all fighting for, Sheikhs?
Yeah.
That's what I hope for.
Exactly, that's what. It's just, I also hope for that, but nearly, as you know, the egos of coaches and the egos of people, especially in terms of, if you talk about SAF, the elections are due now in September. Everybody, it's in the back of their mind in terms of development, looking forward to the country doing very well. Everybody's looking to get his own seat in an office at the SAFA House.
I know, mate. Well, listen, I just spoke to Danny Jordan 10 minutes ago. He's in a taxi or a cab on the way to Stellenbosch. He's down in Cape Town. I'm going to try and get him on in the next 20 minutes. He said he'll speak to me if his phone rings. So do listen to that as well, because Danny and I have had several meetings about how we can take things on and how maybe SAFA, who are apparently penniless and apparently in a bit of disarray, how we can sort SAFA out in September. But Sheikhs, I'm going to have you on here more.
No problem, Nini.
I'm going to watch you on the telly. I'm going to listen to you laugh, watch you dance whenever Kaiser Chiefs score.
When are you joining us at Super Sport?
Mate, I did a whole lot of Super Sport during the European Championships last year, wasn't it? And then, I don't know, Zayn Musa cleaned my shoes live on air, and I think that might have been it for me.
Yeah, but all the best. Thanks a lot, man.
Sheikhs, it's always great to talk to you, mate, and let's see how Knowledge does at Chiefs and how Lennox Bekele does at Orlando Pirates, and we'll come back to you kind of when they've got their first couple of goals, eh?
Yeah, all the best.
Great stuff, Sheikhs. Thanks for talking to Bollockz today. Thank you, Sheikhs Kungwane.
Thank you, Nini.
Cheers, mate.
This is Ballz Visual Radio.